Welcome to Module 3. And at this point, we're going to move beyond some of the text-based AI tools that we explored in earlier modules so that now we can examine some of the advanced AI applications that are transforming industries and that are making their way into the classroom as well. We're going to look into some code generating tools that are revolutionizing software development, image and video generating systems, creating new forms of media, autonomous AI agents taking independent action, and start to explore some of the powerful workflows that emerge when we combine multiple AI tools for more complex tasks. The AI landscape has expanded dramatically since ChatGPT's launch at the end of 2022. We're no longer in the experimental phase. Organizations are deploying AI tools across core business functions. McKinsey found that 71% of organizations are regularly using Gen AI tools, and Turing estimates that the potential value across industries is over $4 trillion. This represents a fundamental shift from individual experimentation to enterprise-wide transformation. And this really creates both unprecedented opportunities and some new challenges for how we work and learn. Let's start with AI-assisted programming. AI has revolutionized software development through tools like GitHub Copilot, which now has over 15 million users. These tools are typically not replacing programmers, they augment human capabilities. And it helps developers learn faster, handle routine code tasks more efficiently, and it really helps them expand the amount of work that they're able to do. These tools are also being used in big tech corporations like Microsoft, where CEO Satya Nadella said in April that approximately 30% of their code is now being written by AI. These code writing tools have become essential productivity multipliers in the development workflow. Modern code generation AI understands context, and it can produce entire functions or even applications from simple descriptions. There are tools like Amazon Code Whisperer that even scan for security vulnerabilities, while others provide real-time debugging assistance. This isn't just autocomplete. That's kind of an earlier version of some of the AI tools that were being used. This is more intelligent and allows collaboration between human intent and machine capability. And again, this is typically being used by programmers, coders that have experience, and it's able to expand their capability to do that much more work in a shorter period of time. Now, one really fascinating trend that's emerged from code generating tools is what's referred to as vibe coding. Andrej Karpathy coined this term just in March of 2025. This is where developers are able to rapidly build entire applications just kind of based on intuition and AI assistance rather than any formal planning. Social media is full of stories about people creating working startups over their single weekend using tools like Bolt or Cursor, Lovable, or Replit. I've already built several web apps using Replit and cannot believe how easy it is to use and how useful these simple tools can be. This represents for many a democratization of software development, where having a good idea and knowing how to communicate with AI can be really effective. But these tools are not quite ready for prime time. And often while vibe coding, you'll find the app just doesn't work or has a lot of bugs. While this enables fast innovation, it also raises questions about code quality, maintainability, and the importance of fundamental programming knowledge. There are a lot of concerns about just leaning into vibe coding means that people aren't going to be learning the coding skills they really need to be able to do good, solid work. Now, I plan to spend some time in this fall's AI and Society course exploring vibe coding, talking about some code generation tools that AI has been developing, including how it can be used to quickly prototype new apps. I think there's a really great opportunity right now for individuals that don't have a coding background to be able to develop some prototypes that could then get the funding that they need to be able to develop in some other ways. I think that this is going to continue to open up over the coming months, and I think we'll be amazed even by the fall what is going to be possible. Image generation AI has reached extraordinary sophistication. Midjourney now produces images that are indistinguishable from photographs, and ChatGPT's image creator excels at incorporating readable text into images. Now, each platform has developed distinct strengths, allowing unlimited customization as well. There are a few instances here, some images that were created by ChatGPT and Midjourney, and they're getting more lifelike and sophisticated. You've seen a lot of them on social media, and there are a lot of really easy tools that you can use to create these, including Microsoft's Copilot, certainly ChatGPT with creating an image, and also on Midjourney. A common and very humorous measure of progress in AI video production is a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti. And this is a clip from 2023, and you can see what a mess it was just 2 years ago when you put that prompt in. Now here's a video that was produced just a month ago using the same prompt, Will Smith eating spaghetti. It's obviously much more realistic, less disturbing to watch. And this is one that has been used pretty frequently to see how the AI video generation tools are advancing. OpenAI's Sora can now create longer videos with consistent characters and realistic physics, while Pika has captured social media attention with viral special effects that have garnered millions of views. Just like you see in the video on the left, there are a number of different features that they have that you can upload or create a short video and then put these special effects into motion. And the images on the right are different videos that were created by Sora recently. And up until just the last month or two, that was probably the state of the art in terms of video generation. It really shows how these tools are moving from experimental to more mainstream creative applications. Now, the most recent addition to this was Gemini's Veo 3. And just in the last month or so, this came out, and it not only produces very realistic visuals, but it's added sound, including voice tracks. So here's an example of a Veo 3 clip that I made just today with a simple prompt that would go along with that UMW AI club meeting.
Okay, if we reroute the power flow here.
Yeah.
That should bypass the damaged circuit.
And the new code sequence is uploaded. Let's test it.
Now, with the account that I have, I don't have the most advanced account. It's $20 a month, but I'm able to make these short clips, including audio tracks and voice synchronization with the videos. And it's really astonishing at how good it is. Now, we're all used to seeing AI video online, but one of the first AI-generated commercial advertisements was just aired in June during the NBA Finals. The ad was sponsored by an online betting site, and it was reportedly created in just a couple of days at a fraction of the cost of shooting a live ad, which could cost $500,000 or $1 million or more if they were producing a live ad. In this case, it was just a few $1,000s. Now, it's really important to note that this was produced by a professional team. They were able to apply their years of experience in video production to get the clips just as they wanted them. But it is amazing to see what they could produce with Veo 3. So here's their 30-second ad.
Indiana gonna win, baby!
We're in Florida asking people what they put their money on! I'm all in on OKC!
Indiana got that dog in them!
Will egg prices go up this month?
I think we'll hit $20. How many hurricanes do you think we'll have this year?
Kalshi!
Kalshi lets you legally trade on anything, anywhere in the U.S. OKC!
Indy! OKC!
Certainly over the top. And I think you can tell that it's AI generated for the most part. But if they dialed it back a little bit and they didn't do things that were so over the top, so crazy, I think it would have a harder time distinguishing and be able to tell that it was actually AI generated. I think this is just the beginning, of course. And as these tools are being developed and they're becoming more lifelike, we're going to see more and more of them used for commercial advertisements that are being produced. It'll save a lot of money. It also means that they're able to do it more quickly and be able to react to current events. A lot of people have been talking about agentic AI, and that's just AI that can autonomously make decisions and take actions to achieve a specific goal. And that's usually done with very minimal human intervention. So what we're witnessing is the emergence of truly autonomous AI systems. Now, there are a lot of detractors and concerns about this because if you have an AI system that is truly autonomous and is able to take actions on its own, it could lead to some harm. And so there are concerns about this and a lot of guardrails in place for current agentic AI. Nevertheless, Gartner has found that agentic AI is the top technology trend for 2025 because these systems move beyond responding to queries alone. They independently execute complex tasks. They coordinate with other AI agents, and they can manage entire workflows with very minimal human oversight. Now, there are a number of AI agents that are already deployed in enterprise settings. Salesforce, for instance, has Agentforce, and they handle a number of complex workflows very autonomously. And OpenAI's Operator can book hotels and order food for pro subscribers. Now, it's still limited application, but there are some other ways that you could play around with this. And I want to show you an example of one that this is a task that I gave to the agentic AI platform Manus to complete. Manus is an agentic AI platform that came out of China that uses Claude's AI model to be able to build out projects. You can give it a simple prompt, a task, and then it will go through and not only give you responses to that initial prompt, but it'll go through and follow a number of steps to be able to complete whatever task that you've assigned it. Here's an example of one that I just did today, and I gave it an assignment to design and deploy a website for an AI club at UMW. We don't have an AI club, but if we did, maybe this would be the starting point for a web page for it. I said the website should match the colors and logos for UMW, should include a list of activities, a sample constitution, and a page to host a video about the club. Now, what you'll see that follows is all of the information about how it went through this work. And one of the things as you're doing it, you'll see that it gives task progress, and it'll go through a number of tasks that it needs to complete, and you're able to watch it as it goes along. Now, one thing about agentic AI is that it typically is going to take longer for it to be able to complete the tasks. In this case, it took a little over 18 minutes to be able to complete, and you can see step by step what it did. Started to research UMW branding and design elements. It navigated to the university comms page to find all of the brand assets. And then it came back and it actually tried to log into the UMW brand toolkit, required a login, and it asked me if I'd like to log in or just to find the materials through other public sources. I said to find it elsewhere. And so other than that, asking me for that feedback, it was able to do the rest of the work on its own. It found official colors, it found some logos, and then it started to design the website structure and content, the website content and assets, and it started to write the code for the website. And as it went through, I could see step by step which page it was working on, and I could click on each one and actually see the code that was being written. So I could go back and look at the index. Here's a page title in index, and at any point, I could go and look at Manus's computer to see what work it was actually doing so I could follow along. Now, as I went along and I watched it as it was developing this, it developed a draft web page. And then it allowed me, if I asked me if I would allow it to deploy the website publicly, and I did. And now you can find that website here, and I'm going to open it up. And you'll see that it included the logo from UMW. It includes colors for UMW. It has a home for welcome to the UMW AI Club. And it includes a lot of content that I did not design and I didn't direct other than to say for it to come up with this content. So it talks about what we offer as a club, workshops, upcoming events. It makes up different events that will be coming up. And it also has information about becoming a member. So if I scroll back up, you can see some other pages. It has an about page, made up statistics, a faculty advisor that doesn't exist, meeting information, and so forth, activities, the constitution that I asked for it to be able to develop, including, it says download PDF version, but that PDF link doesn't work. I did ask it to have a space, a holder for a video, and that's something that I highlighted in the lecture from this section talking about creating a video, and I could have that imported here. And then the contact page was actually pretty impressive, including a lot of different input boxes for name, email address, major, expected graduation year, how you found out about the club, and so forth. And then information about the club and location and so forth. Now, a couple of things to take from this. It was pretty impressive in terms of being able to complete a number of tasks on its own, and a lot of these agentic AI tools are able to do that. But it's also incredibly important to double check all of it, because you can see it made up a lot of content. It made up a faculty advisor. It made up different activities and events that would be held. And, that's probably fine if you're doing this as just a draft website, because you can go in and make changes to it. But it is generative AI. It is going to be able to fill in the blanks on its own, whether you really wanted to or not. And so it's a good starting point. Some more advanced AI agents are probably going to be able to take more content that you have and derive from that content. But this is a good example of how an agentic AI tool might work. So a couple of other caveats I would include here. First, be very careful about, in this example, I asked it to model the UMW logo and colors and so forth. That's not something that should be done without the permission of the university and the communications office, for instance. This was only done for this demo and for this purpose. And you should also be really careful about when you're developing a website, whether it's through vibe coding or using an AI agent, to be able to develop something that could infringe upon copyright, intellectual property rights of others. And that's something that would be very easy to be able to do, to mimic or to make copies of, but you need to be very mindful of those copyright implications and intellectual property right implications. So I will include a link that you can go in and try Manus on your own. It's not required. I'm certainly not endorsing it, but it is an active AI agent that you can have free access to and be given 1,000 free credits if you want to be able to try it out. That's listed under one of the optional pages within this module. Advanced AI tools are transforming every major industry. You can see healthcare AI assistants that work with diagnoses, accelerating drug discovery. There are financial AI tools that are managing risk and automating compliance. There are also legal AI tools that are analyzing contracts and speeding up research with companies like Harvey.ai. And then there are also educational tools that use AI to provide personalized tutoring that rivals human instructors. There was a really great study that was done by the World Bank in Africa that found that students that were given personalized tutoring through iPads and AI tutor bots were able to, in about 6 weeks, jump ahead up to 2 years in terms of instruction. Some really phenomenal results. Now, there are caveats to that, and it's not clear exactly how that's going to be deployed everywhere, but we are finding that these are the current realities reshaping professional practice. And we should be aware of how they work, think about how they work, and start to consider what the applications might be as well as the implications. Now, the real power of advanced AI emerges when a user can orchestrate multiple tools together. So for instance, you can take text AI for planning, use that with code AI for implementation and developing a prototype of an app, for instance. You can include image AI for visualization, always being really careful that you have human oversight at critical integration points. And then you can also accomplish tasks that would be impossible with only a single tool, and perhaps even with an agentic system, be able to do this all together within one workflow. This really represents the future of human AI collaboration. And I think in the coming months, certainly in the coming years, we're going to see a lot of this developed in interesting ways. And I think it'll be important for us to take a really critical eye as to how this is going to be developed, what we would like it to be able to do, and how we plan to use it. Now, using advanced AI tools amplify both the capabilities, but also the ethical concerns. We're going to be talking about a number of those ethical concerns in much greater detail in a later module. But for now, it's important to consider a number of these and that are represented on this slide. The first is bias. Anytime you're working with an AI system, especially a trained system that has bias represented by the training data, that can really be compounded when you're talking about multiple tools being used within a workflow, because the bias from one can compound the bias of another. And so we should be considering how that works when you have more advanced AI tools that are incorporating multiple tools at the same time. There are also copyright issues, and they become more complex when we're talking about generated content. There are a number of lawsuits currently going on that talk about whether or not, and ask whether or not these image tools, these video generation tools were trained on copyrighted material. And if that was the case, and then it's generating material that looks like it's infringing on copyright, that's a real concern. And that's something the courts are going to have to work out. Then there's also the risk of over-relying on AI. I think that I'm certainly in favor of incorporating a lot of AI into their workflows, but we have to be careful that we don't do it at the expense of developing our own skills. If you're doing it in such a way that you've lost your own critical edge, you've lost your own ability to do the research, to do the writing or the coding, then I think that's a cost that's too great. And we should be really mindful about what that balance might be. And that's something we're all going to have to work through. Now, responsible use really requires transparency. And that's another element of this, that when we're using AI assistants, we need to be very careful to offer proper attribution and quality control. For instance, if you're talking about an author using AI tools, it's not legal. It's not possible for them to list the AI tool as their co-author, because that AI tool is just a tool. It's not another author. And so if the human author is offloading too many of those responsibilities onto the AI tool, they're doing it at their own detriment. And it really comes down to the human author being responsible for that content. It's important that they recognize that they're transparent about the use of those tools, and that they're maintaining all kinds of control over the quality of the work. Now, we're moving toward collaborative AI systems where multiple specialized agents can start to work together. And this integration could occur with physical robotics for real-world tasks. And that's something I think we're going to see over the next couple of years. There are a number of robotics companies that are developing some humanoid robots as well as other robotics that are starting to become really practical. They aren't really cost-effective yet, but there are a lot of indications that in the next couple of years they will be. And that's something for us to keep our eye on. There are even real-time 3D world generation. When you think about what this might mean for video games or for video generation, there's some really great applications there. So the future points to some seamless human AI teams where the boundaries between human and artificial intelligence will start to blur. And that'll come in service of enhanced capability and productivity. But we should be really mindful about what the costs are that are associated with it. And we should think very openly and have open discussions about what that might mean for the work that's being done. Now, for you as students, these advanced AI tools offer some immediate practical value, of course. You can design research workflows that combine a number of different AI capabilities. You can create projects that integrate code, design, and analysis. You can access personalized tutoring that might adapt to your learning style. And you certainly want to build familiarity with tools that you're going to encounter in your careers. Now, in this course, this is only an introduction to AI. So I encourage you to further pursue other additional coursework and learning opportunities, because I want to make sure that you're exploring how to effectively and ethically make use of some of these advanced tools in your field. And that's why the discussion board for this week is a little more, I'm expecting a little bit more from it than maybe in some of the other discussion boards, so I don't have other assignments attached to it. In this, I really want you to start to think about how these advanced tools could be deployed, and maybe they already are being used within your intended field. I want you to start to think about what that will look like in the years to come. Now, this is just an overview of some of the advanced AI tools, but hopefully now you have a broader understanding of some of how these tools can work with code generation, creative media, autonomous agents, and some of their ethical implications that we're going to explore further in other modules. These tools are reshaping every industry and academic discipline. And in our upcoming activities, you're going to practice integrating these tools while maintaining critical thinking and ethical standards that are really essential for responsible AI use. I look forward to seeing what you do with the discussion board this week, and we'll get into discussions of academic integrity and ethical use in Module 4, as well as some of the ethical concerns in later modules as well.